There's a new Looney Tunes movie in theaters. Is it fantastic or is it despicable? Let's find out.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Once more unto the bridge, dear friends.
Again and again until we're both dead.
There's only like 12 stories. They change around little details, but they're all pretty much the same.
Deja vu. Something very familiar about it.
Hello, welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews, connections of mind. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, is the first fully animated feature film starring the Looney Tunes, is directed by Pete Braungart, and features Porky Pig and Daffy Duck in an adventure where they must save their childhood home from being condemned by the city over some bad maintenance, and when they have to get a real job to raise some money to fix their roof, but when a alien threat comes from the sky and starts threatening their town as well as the world at large, it is up to them, along with their new sidekick Petunia Pig, to figure out what the aliens want and force them back and uncover some threats that they may not have known of. Now, this video review will contain spoilers of The Day the Earth Blew Up, as well as certain other things. I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost, though, so let's get into some spoiler-free thoughts on Day the Earth Blew Up. Is it a good movie? Is it a good Looney Tunes movie? Is this a good theater experience? I would say, well, I can't speak to the theater experience because this movie was not advertised pretty much at all. It was me and two other people in this big theater, on a Friday night. And who knows, this movie was not well advertised, but overall, that being aside, is this a good Looney Tunes movie? So I come at this from a couple of different mindsets. One, as an adult fan of Looney Tunes, there are things that I can follow that I'm not sure kids are going to really follow as well. I appreciate the longs of the story. I could it's easy to follow, of course. And there are a couple of lines that got me to chuckle, but other than that, I was not a fan of the humor as much in this movie, mainly probably because, as a fan of Looney Tunes, it's common for the Looney Tunes to pair off one another. Obviously the Bugs and Daffy is a big, has a major pairing between them. The pairing of Daffy and Porky it's not my cup of tea, I think, as far as the Looney Tunes go. That energy, is not quite what is not my favorites when it comes to Looney Tunes. That doesn't make it bad. It just means I like other pairings better. But also, maybe not Porky so much, but really, I think Daffy, the Daffy shtick is fine in a 7-minute short, when what they were originally meant to be. And in something like, say, a Space Jam, when, Daffy's just one character in a menagerie of the Looney Tunes, and he doesn't get as much screen time, and he only just pops up every once in a while, that works as well. But when you have to focus an entire feature film on this, it's about 90 minutes, probably, 85, 84 without credits. It starts to wear thin, and this is the same kind of complaint that I've leveled at other movies that are, movie versions of previous properties that were only like in, like this, not quite as bad as this, but like the Simpsons movie, where the Simpsons movie, you talk about, the Simpsons is great in a, half-hour block on TV, but then when you stretch it out to an hour and a half, some of the things they do start to wear thin, and I feel like this movie does that as well, especially with Daffy. But I will say, if you were going to approach this in from the mindset of a younger kid who maybe hasn't seen a lot of Looney Tunes stuff, because We live in a day and age where the Looney Tunes, probably the most culturally relevant thing that's going on with Looney Tunes nowadays is the continued argument for David Zaslav to finally release Coyote versus Acme, which he totally should, by the way, but that's a whole other can of worms. But there really isn't a whole lot of other things going on with Looney Tunes, or at least nothing good. I mean, you see Looney Tunes getting pulled off Max, and it's a shame because that means younger generations aren't going to get to see Looney Tunes like this. It'd be only with stuff like this, and for this to be an introduction for someone into Looney Tunes, I think it's a pretty good time for kids to be introduced to Looney Tunes and then use the jumping off point to what's going to the classics of Looney Tunes. I would also say there are, from my perspective, thankfully few instantly dated jokes on this. There's one joke where they have to become Daffy and Porky flirt with being influencers, but really this feels kind of timeless as far as story goes, which is a good thing because it's not as much as people with nostalgia goggles look at Space Jam, that is very much a 90s movie, and in all the wrong ways. But this Day the Earth Blew Up, it's drawing from 50s style like sci-fi alien invasion stories, but really there's nothing about this that screams dated, and the pacing I think is up to modern snuff, I would say, for younger audiences, because I'll be one to admit sometimes even some of the classic Looney Tunes shorts, while yes they are Looney and they're sometimes some of the pacing and some of the references, they do feel dated and a little bit slow, especially compared to modern times. This feels like a well thought out update, refresh and update to bring Looney Tunes into a modern space of mind without it being so cringeworthy of like, we're just going to throw in 2025 jokes here and there, and then that's what the kids will like. No, this feels like a very respectful take on the Looney Tunes, especially Daffy and Porky, and I think they do a decent enough job with it. You don't go into the movie looking for subtlety or anything like that. So if you're looking for like deep messages with Looney Tunes movie, I mean, what's wrong with you? I mean, there's literally one scene at one point, Daffy says, "Oh, talk about foreshadowing," and looks directly into the camera, and the word "foreshadowing" shows up on the screen. So we're not talking subtle here, which Looney Tunes never were. But honestly, if I was to look at this, it could have been a little loonier, because when there was Looney Tunes slapstick kind of stuff. I mean, there's even a great animated like music like trippy music number at one point in the movie, and it looks that's the fun stuff. I like that. But when it's like focusing on just a generic story of alien invasion, that's when I think this is kind of dull. It's kind of dragging. Let's get back to the good stuff. Those are the kind of things I suspect kids might latch onto more, those kind of nitpicks. But for my money, I had a decent enough time. I think your kids are going to enjoy it too. I think, the voice cast does an excellent job. As far as, Daffy and Porky, they sound like Daffy and Porky. Peter McNichol voices the invader, the head alien in this, and he's delightfully manic as well, and he's got a good role in this. But overall, I would say this is a fun enough time, but it's on the one hand, it's also kind of a safe time, and it does make you wonder because they, this was not released in much advertising. This was also meant to be a streaming direct to streaming Max exclusive. But then they decided to put it in theaters. But they put it into theaters with very little marketing. I'm afraid that this is just kind of come and go, and no one's going to know that it even existed. And that's kind of a shame. I feel like this deserves to be seen at least once by young and old. If you're a Looney Tunes fan, I think you're going to find something to appreciate in this. It's not the best by any means, but it's not the worst either. So if I was going to give The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, a letter grade, I would say this is a B minus. I was a little bit harsh coming out of the theater, maybe just because it was late, but after thinking about it, it's fun. It does exactly what it was intended to do, and that's all a movie can ask for, in my opinion. So B minus for letter grade. If I was going to weigh this in on the scale of unoriginality, I would say this weighs in at less than original. You've seen it before, but it could be worse. So not nothing to write home about, but there are definitely worse outcomes out there. So those are my main spoiler-free thoughts on The Day the Earth Blew Up. Now let's get into some spoiler talk as certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Really, there's not a whole lot to talk about in this section. I mean, there's the obvious ones where, when it's finally revealed that the real threat is this asteroid that's hurtling towards Earth. I mean, some of these where it's like, oh, I completely forgot there was an asteroid in this in the very beginning of the movie. They just kind of gloss over it. That was, obviously they're kind of playing up the Armageddon aspect of it. You have to go onto the asteroid and plant the explosives in the core so we can blow it up and save the Earth. There's that, and then of course, on a more thematic review of you've seen these things before, the twist of the invader, the alien, where he's like, no, I'm trying to save the Earth because you thought I was being threatening, and despite the fact that maniacal after, he's doing everything possible to let you know, no, I'm evil. And it's like, no, I'm actually trying to save the Earth. I'm not sure that twist really works, especially because we have, instances of him acting evil. But it's a Looney Tunes movie. You don't have to think too deep about that. But the theme of aliens coming to Earth, like, we're all reacting to them. Yeah, it's like, oh no, you're a threat. It's like, no, I'm actually, what you see as a threat, I'm actually helping the Earth do this, or I'm actually here to help. There's not the actual, what seems threatening isn't actually a threat. I've seen that theme in sci-fi, but it seems like it's not as common a sci-fi trope, but you've seen it before, especially in instances of there's a great episode of Star Trek Voyager called Twisted, where this alien energy wave starts going through the ship and like distorting people, and people are getting herded to the center of the ship. It's like, no, we're gonna die. What's going on? It's like, turns out, no, it's perfectly fine. In fact, it downloaded a bunch of data into your computer and then copied your database into it, and then went and flew away. It's like, that was kind of interesting. In a sillier example, you can point to the parody science aliens in Scary Movie 3, where it's revealed, oh yeah, that's just how we greet each other by, going up behind you and strangling you like that. And that wasn't meant as a threat. What's going on? It's like, that's what came to my mind. And then to a slightly lesser extent, but not, it would be shocking if this wasn't mentioned. The movie is called The Day the Earth Blew Up, and they're clearly trying to hearken people back to The Day the Earth Stood Still, where, at least at first, the aliens came to offer the humanity, we're giving you this communications text, and you can talk with alien races. It's great. Then everyone's like, no, kill them, and then all hell breaks loose from there. But the thought of non-threat, things that seem like a threat but aren't actually a threat, and our reactions to them, those themes have been showing up in sci-fi before, and we see that in this movie as well. But like I said, this is a movie where you don't want to think too hard about it, because it's a Looney Tunes movie. It's supposed to be goofy and fun and childish at times. At one point, when they say, "Oh, Daffy, you have to stay home and stay here and lay more eggs," my first thought was like, isn't Daffy a male duck? How's that supposed to work? And then he's laying ducks and laying eggs, and it's like, are they going to address that? And then, of course, by the end, they have the, probably one major laugh moment I had in the movie when Daffy's like, do you know how hard it is as a male duck to lay eggs? It's like, okay, yeah, they brought that around. I like that. Plus, I also really chuckled at the awkward animation, the purposely awkward animation of Farmer Jim. For some reason, he kind of made me think of the Jolly Green Giant, even though he's not green. He's just kind of, it's maybe just the way he's drawn and how it works. And his voice kind of reminds me of the Jolly Green Giant in a way. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. What did you think of the day the Earth blew up? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which, as far as I know, between now and then, there's not a whole lot going on. So I believe my next movie review will be for Thunderbolts, which comes out May 2nd. And if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. You have seen it before. And that's all, folks.